This is O-Talk, a podcast covering the Ontario Hockey League. From people within the game. Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the O-Talk podcast hosted by Jordan Jacklin, always joined alongside of Josh Kim and Frankie Benvenuti. Today, we are joined by Montreal Canadiens second-round pick from the 2022 NHL draft, Owen Beck. Owen, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Thanks. Yeah, we're doing pretty good so far. And we just got a couple of questions here to put you through the ringer and just kind of get a sense of what it's been like coming back to Mississauga, obviously getting off to the strong start that you're at. But let's just rewind here back to June. What was it like getting drafted by Montreal? You know, I know you grew up in Peterborough. I don't know if you were a Leafs fan or not growing up, but what was it like getting drafted by Montreal?
Yeah, it was special. It wasn't something I was expecting. You know, I had a few teams in mind going into the draft that I thought might pick me, and to be honest, Montreal wasn't one of them. You know, I think just with the way they kind of handled this draft, holding every pick kind of close to their chest, nobody really knew what to expect, and I was one of them. So yeah, it was a super special moment, something I've dreamed of ever since I was a kid. And you know, it was just even more special being in Montreal and you know, having that home crowd you know, show you all that love and support from minute one even. So yeah, it was great. And yeah, you know, I almost wish I could relive it again.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned those draft interviews. I know Montreal's kind of been known to ask some intriguing questions during those interviews. Did they ask you an interesting question, or did any other team potentially ask you something that kind of caught you off guard?
Yeah, Montreal asked me what kind of animal I am on and off the ice. Other than that, there weren't too many interesting ones that I got, but that was one that stood out for me.
For sure. And Josh, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, Owen, I cover the Colts, and I had a nice front row seat to you absolutely lighting us up like a week ago. That's a really competitive division with Barrie and North Bay, especially in Sudbury on the come up. What has it been like playing in that division for not only this year but last year as well?
Yeah, last year we got quite a good feel for the division, playing most of those teams probably upwards of 5-6 times each. So yeah, I mean, it's a competitive division. You know, it's been good in recent years, and it's good again this year, if not better. So trying to stay atop that division is going to be a challenge, and it's something that we're going to look to do this year. And you know, it's always fun going into one of those buildings or having them come to us and you know, and facing off any night. And yeah, it's always going to be a competitive game, and probably a pretty entertaining one for the fans.
So speaking of entering those buildings, what's your favorite OHL city to play in right now? Besides Mississauga, obviously.
Oshawa or London, probably. Oshawa's close to home, good crowd, and it's a great building. London, you know, it's awesome to play in front of a sold out crowd just about every night, and you know, the Budweiser Gardens are a pretty fun place to play.
Man, guys, everyone's saying London. We asked other players that question too, and everyone says London almost every single time.
It's almost like the team that gets 8,000 to 9,000 people a night is pretty entertaining to play in front of.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. So Owen, you played against Arber Jacklin last season when he was with Hamilton. You guys suited up together at training camp. Do you guys have, like, what kind of relationship do you guys have? You know, both you guys are both from the O, both played against each other a ton. So what can you say about him and the relationship that you have?
Yeah, I had never really interacted with him before, aside from being on the ice, before going to training camp. So I think you know, what we had in common was just coming from the OHL, and that kind of, you know, started off a bit of a I guess it was a bit of an icebreaker, I suppose. So yeah, it was good. He's you know, he's not what you think of when you play him on the ice. You know, he's a super nice guy off the ice, someone you love having on your team, for obvious reasons. And yeah, he's just you know, he's a great guy. He does well with everybody on the team. He's you know, I've never heard of anybody not liking him unless you're playing against him. So yeah, I think he was someone that I spent a fair bit of time with at training camp, and you know, it really good guy to be around.
Now, is he as scary
Oh,
as people think?
Well, yeah, I probably just sounded like I made him, or I probably made it sound like he's soft, but no, he is definitely a scary force to play against. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll expand on that, and Josh and Jordan know that I love to shoehorn the 67s and everything as much as I possibly can. But you also are drafted by the same team as Philip Massar and Vinny Rohr in Ottawa here. So, is there any connection? Like, I know Vinny couldn't make it to Canadiens camp for an injury, but is there any connection with those guys whenever you do end up playing them?
Yeah, I mean, Vinny's somebody that I've gotten to know pretty well last year, with the prospects game and the combine. I think he's an extremely funny guy and super likable. So I've got to know him pretty well over last season, and then we spent a fair bit of time together at development camp. So yeah, he's definitely a guy that I know pretty well, and I'm looking forward to playing him. I think pretty soon we have him coming up, and then Massar is obviously someone I just met, at development camp, and got to know a little bit better at rookie and main camp. So it'll be interesting to play him as well. Good to see him on the ice. I message him here and there every time I see one of his highlights pop up or something like that on my Instagram or something. So yeah, there's definitely always a connection with any prospects on the same team as you, and within the same NHL organization as you. So yeah, those are always ones you circle on your calendar.
I'll push you on the Roar one a little bit too, just quickly, because every time Ottawa played Mississauga last year, it was a really close game. I think there were a couple of 1-0s, a couple of one, like there was a bunch of 1-goal games. So you've gone toe to toe with them. Just there must be a little bit of excitement to switch that and be on the same team at some point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to. I know Vinny's a great player, and I've already mentioned how much I like him as a individual, and yeah, it'll be nice to switch up that competitive nature to being on the same team, and hopefully having success down the road together.
Yeah, so Owen, I'm curious to get your thoughts on your performance during training camp. You got some extended looks. There were even some people that believed you almost had an outside shot at making the roster. Did you almost think that was a possibility for you as it rolled along, or I'm just curious to get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm still 18, very young, and chances of making the Canadiens this year, weren't necessarily in my favor, but I didn't want to put it out of question or out of the realm of possibility that I could have made the team. That's kind of the mentality I went into training camp with, and had some success, and but yeah, ultimately got sent back to Mississauga, and I know that's best for my development at this point in time, and I'm just gonna try and look to get back to Montreal and stay there as soon as possible.
Yeah, in terms of just being in Mississauga, I want to know, who are some of your closest teammates that you're currently with? I saw you did a video with Xander on the team account the other day. Yeah, it's a very close group here in Mississauga. I'm just curious who you're talking to the most.
Yeah, for sure. I think probably Lavoie, Vecchia, Del Bel Blues, Misa, probably. I can't really single out one guy. As you mentioned, we're just a super close group. So yeah, we spend time together as a team and everything, and everybody, is cool with everybody. So yeah, I mean, there's guys that maybe I sit closer to in the room, but other than that, we're all pretty close, and I can't really single out one guy.
When you mentioned all of those names, is there a hockey team on the planet with more cool hockey names than the Mississauga Steelheads?
Yeah, we have some pretty unique ones. Obviously Del Bel Blues. Del Mastro is a pretty neat name as well. And then yeah, I mean, if you're picking one team, I think I think we might take the cake on that one, but yeah, I'd have to probably do my research a little bit more to fully I guess make a decision on that.
I gotta say, Del Bel Blues is like the best hockey name I think I've ever heard. Honestly, and a lot of people I think can agree with that. And And for you, Owen, like you guys have a lot of NHL prospects now on your roster. Do you guys talk about that experience a lot and kind of lean on each other for that stuff, or is it everyone kind of like staying in their own lane?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys with NHL camp experience kind of direct that more to the younger guys, as opposed to kind of sharing it amongst each other, because the guys who were at NHL camps usually have a good idea on their own of of what it takes to get to the next level and whatnot. But the younger guys don't always have that. So I think that's kind of where the older guys direct that kind of attention, and try and just help the younger guys get there as soon as possible as well.
Yeah. Oh, and just another question on Mississauga. I'm curious, who has the worst tape job on the team? If there's somebody.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that have some pretty questionable tape jobs. I'd have to say Xander Vecchia or Lucas Kermiris. Those are the guys I've paid attention.
Lucas is new to the team too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those are two guys that I'm actually able, like I'm close enough to them that I'm able to pay attention to what their tape job looks like, and yeah, it's some of them aren't great. So those are probably the two guys that I'd say.
And in terms of just go ahead, Josh.
On that note, who is like the toughest teammate to go up against in practice?
Considering I'm a forward, probably Del Mastro.
Yeah,
obviously a big NHL drafted defenseman, and yeah, that's he's pretty tough to go toe to toe with in practices.
Yeah, so Owen, I'm just curious, you've obviously had a pretty good start to the season here in terms of your with the Steelheads. What has it been like just coming back after that NHL training camp experience and just seeing the ice differently, almost like in terms of taking your games to new levels in the OHL this year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've noticed is just how much the game slowed down for me. It's almost refreshing in that sense. It's just able to make more plays that I wouldn't normally be able to or wouldn't have made last year, and whatnot. So I think all in all, it just helps me help the team more than anything. So yeah, the biggest thing is just the game having slowed down a little bit for me.
Alrighty, guys, before we head off into the O game, do you have any other questions you want to ask?
No, I'm good, man.
Alrighty,
those are some great answers. And as long as we're on the same page about Bilbo Baloo's being the best hockey name, we're good.
I was gonna bring up I saw a post on Instagram the other not too long ago. It was I think it was a guy at West. His last name's Savage. I think it might be like Curtis Savage or something like that. He wears number 21, or Carter Savage, something like that. But he wears number 21, so I think it's kind of funny how it's kind of like 21 Savage. I think that's a pretty good name number combination. So
I wonder if anyone's made that connection. Tri-City guy. Huh. Yeah. that's hilarious. I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I just saw that a couple days ago. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and we're just gonna play something quickly. I'm gonna pin you against Josh and Frankie here. I'm just gonna ask 3 OHL related trivia questions, and we'll see ultimately who can get the answers here.
How good is your OHL knowledge? Would you say, Owen?
I think it's pretty good, but I might be surprised.
Okay, well, it's a bit Montreal themed too, so I'm curious how all of you do on this.
Oh, this is gonna go great, Jordan. I can already tell.
Alrighty, guys, we're back here with another edition of the O game, and we got a little bit of Montreal and OHL trivia related questions here. So let's just start this off. For our first question, besides you, Owen, Montreal obviously drafted 2 other players from the OHL in June. Can you guys name me the 2 other players that were drafted? This is not too hard of a question, but
I think you get one of them.
Cedric Naindon and Vincenz Rohrer.
Wow, look at that.
There you go.
Beans everyone to the punch. I actually wasn't even gonna guess either of those, so I'm just gonna take it back.
You weren't gonna guess Vinny.
Wow, Josh?
Yeah, no, that was spaced out on that one.
Okay, this one will be a bit more harder.
That was quick though. That was really quick.
He came ready.
Yeah, he definitely came ready for those.
So for our second question here, Mississauga has taken 138 penalty minutes as a team to start this season. There are 5 teams in front of them that have taken less penalties accumulated as a team so far. So can you name me those 5 teams? I mean, some of them you definitely are going to know in terms of you, Josh and Frankie. So bonus points if you can guess in order. I'm just
Less
curious.
or more?
Hang on.
So they have less penalty minutes like as a team. So
How
like,
is that
could be
Montreal
before.
related?
Well, the last one is. I'm just curious. I just was curious.
Okay. Sorry. You said Mississauga had how many? Like the
They have
most? or the least?
138. So who has less in terms of that? Because these are less penalty minutes as a team.
Is Peterborough one of them?
They are not.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have Artem Guriev who has like 68 minutes and
Yeah, fair enough.
like
I-
6
We're talking.
games.
We're talking this season. Too.
Yeah, this season. It's just this season.
Least amount. I honestly feel like the Colts would be one of them.
Barrie's first. They've only taken 100 penalty minutes. as a team.
Really? Oh man!
Found that
Congrats to the
interesting.
guys. That's great.
Yeah.
Good to.
I'll
good
say
to see.
Kingston.
Kingston's not on there.
All right.
That's hard to
Gosh.
believe.
Windsor?
Windsor. Nope. Windsor's not on there.
No.
How many West teams are there?
There's none. That I see.
Oh, so
Yeah.
we should actually get this.
Yeah, there's no West. I know I'm known for the West related questions, but there's no Western Conference.
The
teams here.
least penalized teams.
I'll say this. There's
what about
another
Ottawa?
obvious one based off one of the people here. There's another
Ottawa.
obvious
Oh, Owen just said Ottawa.
Yep, Ottawa. Yep, Ottawa's 5th on this list.
Ottawa's there. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it feels like from the penalty kill all the time.
Well, I feel like you don't get 10-1 if you take a lot of penalties. You know?
You do when you score on like 50% of your power plays.
Maybe. So we need 3 more.
Yeah,
Now?
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Oh, jeez. Well, the options are only like.
East North Bay.
North Bay is 3rd. Yeah,
I just said that, and Frankie, I don't know
No,
if
you
there's a
didn't.
lag. I literally just did.
No,
I think
too bad.
there's like. Sorry, North Bay's 2nd actually.
I'm
You
glad
just need to
this
guess
is
3 and
recorded.
4.
I'm glad this is
But,
recorded. I can go back.
Niagara.
Niagara's not on there. No.
No, Niagara's been. I don't know. How many of those 11 goals were scored on the power play against them? Like, come on, no chance.
Jordan, I'm going to give you one guess, and if it's this one, I'm actually going to be a little bit upset about it.
Sure.
Sudbury.
It's not Sudbury. No.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
Oshawa?
What'd you say? Sorry, Owen.
Oshawa?
Oshawa's on there. Yes, they're 3rd. You just have
Wow.
one more.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest.
Owen's
I think
spoken,
you're
you
like
guys, right now.
you're like killing this. Yeah, my OHL
Who's the
knowledge is
one
pretty
team we
good,
haven't
and
guessed?
they
Yeah, the
just
guys we
quoted
had
me.
on before couldn't even like barely guess one thing, and no one's like.
I know.
4
This is
questions
crazy.
answered.
And he's confident with it too. He's not just like guessing. He's just like, this is actually like. I feel like you go home and research this every day.
Well, I should know this better.
Sorry,
because-
the team that's left is in the Midwest Division. That's what.
Okay, so it's
Counts the stats. I don't know. This is crazy.
So then
Again, I
4th
don't
on
understand how this
list.
is Montreal related, Jordan. I really don't.
Well, this one I mean more Mississauga related.
Midwest. I don't. I'm out. Like I'm out on guessing too.
Alright.
Like
I thought
I
we
got
guessed
2.
everybody except for
This
Hamilton so
this
far.
one's the Kitchener Rangers. They were 4th.
That's in the Western
Yeah,
Conference.
Yeah,
They're Midwest. Yeah, that's why. I said
dude,
they're in the
you just like
Midwest Division.
Seward.
You
all
told
of
us
yeah.
you
No
told us
West
it was
team.
none of the
Oh my
Western
God.
Conference, and then he gives us a Western Conference team.
This happens all the
Always
time.
smart. I know the best host. Okay, now this 3rd one here, the last one we got. This one is a pretty. I think it might be kind of hard, but it also might be kind of easy. It really depends how much you would know this. Which player that went on to go and play for the Montreal Canadiens also happened to score the most points in an OHL season in 1982-83?
What in the world kind of question is this?
Pretty
Sorry,
notable name.
He scored the most points ever in an OHL season?
He did, yes.
Oh my goodness. And
I
he
can
was
tell you the
Montreal.
totals that helped. Like with
That doesn't
his
help
production.
anything.
He had
You know
70.
that.
He had 70 goals and 177 points in 68 games. So he scored over a
Holy
goal a game,
crap.
over 2
Can
points
you
a
give
game.
us the junior team that he played for?
I'll just pull that up quickly. I'll tell you what another NHL team he played for if you want.
Sure.
He also was a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Ooh.
Okay, I want the junior
Really?
team now. That doesn't help me at all.
And then the team he did this with was the Cornwall Royals.
Oh my God, I don't know why I asked that. That doesn't make any sense.
Can I use ask a friend?
Ask a friend.
Oh, you're
Mr.
in
Kenny
the league.
Walls, who has scored the most points all time in OHL history that played with the Cornwall Royals?
Not
One
OHL
season.
history.
In
One
OHL
season, Frankie.
history.
One season.
Okay, he played with Cornwall. He played for Montreal. Scored 70 goals. What was it? 70 goals?
Yeah, 70 goals.
You've stumped Kenny Walls. There is no answer to this question.
Did he go on to actually be a good NHL player?
Very much so, yes.
I'm assuming he did.
I'll say this, he didn't really play for Montreal that long.
Kirk Mullen.
No, it's not Kirk Mullen.
Okay.
In fact,
No,
he only
that's
played
not-
for Montreal. He played in Montreal to end off his career, basically.
Oh my God, this
you
is
just give us the
barely a
answer?
Montreal-related question. too.
Alrighty.
No, I want to guess. And I
Okay,
think
keep
Owen wants
guessing,
to guess
Josh.
too. What was his most notable NHL team?
The Toronto Maple Leafs. Most people think of them as a Leaf.
Not Sundin, is it?
It's not Sundin, no.
No,
Here, I'll
Sundin
tell
wouldn't.
here. I'll actually tell you every team he's played for because he's played for a
Okay.
lot. So
It
he,
wouldn't be Sundin though.
he
'cause
started off
Swedish.
with St. Louis. He went to Calgary. I think, he went to Calgary, then got traded midway in 91-92 to Toronto. He spent a short stint with New Jersey, Chicago, Buffalo, Montreal, and then played one more game, I believe, to end off his career with Toronto.
Oh,
one of
I
the
had a
most
guess.
biggest Leaf players of all time. I'll say that too.
Players of all time, and we've lost Frankie, so now that helps. Okay, biggest league players of
Doug
all
Gilmour.
time.
Yes, Doug Gilmour is the player.
You know
and
that.
Owen Beck.
I was just
Completely
trying to think of
dominant.
notable Leafs players.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah,
That's
How
pretty
sick.
the
great.
hell did you know that?
That was a guess, I'll be honest. I was just trying to think of
Crazy.
notable Leafs players. That's why I threw out Sundin.
Wow,
Yeah.
Well, there we
man,
go.
that's impressive. And Frankie missed the best moment so far of their show. Is that like an actual player managed to actually do well in the trivia section.
Yeah, I know. You just wouldn't think of Doug Gilmour, I think.
Yeah,
for that
no
player,
chance.
but I mean, he also
With all of those teams, no chance.
yeah.
He
Overall,
played
man.
for that many teams.
There we go. We got Frankie back. It was Doug Gilmour, Frankie.
I was about to say I Googled it and I
There you
figured
go.
it out.
Of course he did.
All right.
It's
Owen
Doug Gilmour.
destroyed us, by the way.
Alrighty. So thank you very much, Owen, for joining us today. Do you guys have any final remarks you want to talk about?
Oh man, Owen, keep up the good work. Good luck the rest of the year. When you come to Barrie, please don't destroy us like you did last week. It's not fun to watch. I'm between the benches and
I don't mind it, Owen, if you do that.
I'm watching you skate by and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's gonna light us up. And it's brutal because I'm getting chirped on Twitter every single day, and it's just it makes my life just the best.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man. And we'll be tuning into Mississauga, of course, as the season unveils, as this is a pretty deep team that's poised to try to go on the big run here. So for Frankie, Josh, and Owen, this is Jordan, and this has been the O Talk Podcast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.